Happy New Draft Day. Let's make a cake.
It's not the first time that I'm happy. It's not the first time I feel good. But it's been a while since that happened, knock on wood. I try to stay cool on the surface. I'd ask you to stay if I could. Though my lips are sealed, you still get me, yeah you do. That's why I said that we should be more than a couple. Of ours is not enough. So kiss me again and again and again, the way it should be. You see, we're more than a couple. Of hours away from love. So kiss me again and again and again. You give me goosebumps. Oh, 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 oh. You give me goosebumps.
Oh my god, that smells so good. Hi! If you're new here, my name is Marta. I am an aspiring author currently working on my debut fantasy trilogy, Project Sight. I have spent the past month working on rereading, re-outlining, re-brainstorming the second book in the series, and today is the day. Today we are starting the second draft in the book. If you know me, you might know that I am a very slow writer. I won't even necessarily say that I'm a slow writer. I'm a very busy writer with a ton of things going on at all times. So something like starting a new project or even starting a new draft of the same project doesn't happen very often with me. And when it does, it is just so exciting and I want to make the most of it. I want to really allow myself to enjoy that new start and to romanticize the hell out of a brand new draft. So we have cake. I am wearing some of my favorite clothes. I forgot my earrings. Right back. I'm wearing some of my favorite earrings. You can't see my earrings, but they make me feel like I'm all dressed up and ready for a special occasion, which this absolutely is. I want to treat the new draft as a special occasion and I want to do everything that I can to make it feel really, really special. So that being said, I'm going to cut myself a little slice of this. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea. I haven't decided what type of tea I'm having yet, but it's gonna be one of my fancy teas, that's for sure. And then we're gonna sit down and I'm gonna start a new draft of my project.
Recall when we were young, running from all things at once, without thinking twice. And I knew it would catch up, and that we would be the ones left behind. The stories I've been told, they never seem to leave my mind. This road that I am on, I gotta stay here for some time.
I was really struggling for a minute there. I basically got immediately overwhelmed as soon as I saw the blank page, and I think part of that is that I hadn't really decided how I'm going to approach this draft yet. With my last book, I basically threw away the entire draft 1 and the entirety of draft 1 outline and just re-outlined and rewrote the book from scratch. There was very little overlap, and then I did the same thing again for draft 3. So I effectively wrote the entire book from scratch 3 times before I had something solid enough to work from. And while that is not the case with this book, I am not rewriting the entire thing from scratch. I am planning on keeping certain chapters, I'm planning on keeping certain bits. It is not as good as draft 3 of my previous book was, because obviously this is a first draft and not a third draft, even if draft 3 was written from scratch. But I'm trying to figure out how much I'm redoing in this sort of like in-between stage. So I'm somewhere between wanting to start again and not wanting to start again and just working from what's there. So for chapter 1, there's actually nothing wrong with it from a plot perspective. The first chapter is from Rin's point of view, who's a brand new character to the second book in the series, so she needs a little bit more development. So I am rewriting this chapter again, in part to get her voice to feel a little bit stronger, but I'm still looking at the old chapter while I do that, and I'm just struggling with how much to keep, because there are bits in there that I like, but it feels strange to me to be keeping words from draft 1. That doesn't feel like something I should be doing, but I think it is okay for me to do that. I think the draft is strong enough that I can steal entire paragraphs from it and they still fit. It's not even nearly as bad as my draft 1 from the previous book was. So I'm only about half a page in at the minute. I think getting started took a little bit more effort than it should have, just because I was trying to make those decisions about how to get into this, and I think the approach that I'm following now works pretty well for me. I think it's gonna be right, at least for this chapter, and I might switch it up for future chapters. I think this book might be a make decisions on what to keep and what not to keep on a chapter by chapter basis. I'm just getting towards the end of the first scene in the first chapter, and right after this bit I've basically got brackets fight scene and then I skip ahead in the original draft. So this is the first bit that I'm gonna have to write from scratch for this draft, and I'm excited for it. I am also a little bit scared because I've already mentioned Rin as a new character for this book. She's not the only one. Basically everyone involved in this fight scene up until this reveal at the end is also a new character for this book. And while I really worked hard on fleshing out Rin during the brainstorming and the prep for draft 2, I did not do the same thing for any of the side characters in this scene, and I don't think I can actually just go straight into writing this fight. I think I'm gonna have to stop and do a little bit more work on this, which is fine. We're making progress slowly, but I think what I might do, because I'm feeling pretty tired at this point, is have a little bit of a break. I've got my project playlist that I made for the second book, so I'm gonna be listening to that. And while I do, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of crochet because I haven't done any in a while, and I've been really excited to work on my crochet blanket that I started last year that's been sort of collecting dust and being a little bit abandoned. So I've been working my way through that fight scene. I haven't finished it. I did just notice that the word count for the chapter so far is the same as the draft 1 chapter, even though I'm missing like the ending scene and half of the fight scene, so like that's really cool. I feel like the first draft of this book was very underwritten, so I'm very happy that it's getting bulked up a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna be finishing the chapter today, unfortunately. It is getting a little bit late in the day and it is Sunday, so I need to do some like meal prep and general like bits and pieces that you do on Sunday evenings before the work week. I might actually do a little bit more writing in the evening later, but if I do, it'll be like in my pajamas in like cozy mode. I feel like this was probably a very short vlog. I've basically just been completely distracted by my story and I don't think I've been really chatting to you that much. I'm really enjoying just working through this chapter, being back to drafting. I'm also really glad that I did end up deciding to just rewrite every single word. So even though there are bits that I'm copying across, I'm typing it out again when I do that, which just makes it easier for me not to go into this automatic copy and paste mode. I can actually process what I'm typing out better and decide if it actually wants to stay or not. And I'm just really happy with the chapter so far. As I said, there hasn't been that many changes to the first chapter, so I am looking forward to getting to some of the chapters later on that are gonna change a bit more severely. There's some brand new chapters that I'm going to be adding that I'm very excited for, and we'll just see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, I hope that you're having an absolute wonderful time with your project. Feel free to let me know what you're working on, and I will see you very soon. Bye bye.